That is unbelievable.
Maybe you can take a picture and send it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's craft time, and this craft is inspired by some of the bee removals that I do. It's fun to see how bees grow and build their hives in nature. So the last bee removal I did in a tree was an exposed hive, and they're so beautiful. And I was wondering if we could make a craft with it, and of course, bubble wrap came to mind. So this craft is going to be cool for kids to do for maybe a science fair project, or just maybe to even hang in their room. It's kind of cool. Or for any of you beekeepers who want to use it to speak to schools or whatever. But this is what you need for it. You need some bubble wrap, preferably recycled. All that bubble wrap that you want to throw away but don't. And let's see, we need some paints like these. I used, let's see, chestnut. These are 50 cents at Walmart. Chestnut, white, black, and golden sunset. So those are the 4 colors that I used for this. You are going to need some kind of cereal, Rice Krispies, or these puffs from the 99-cent store. A paintbrush. This one really works well. Also really cheap, just I think for putting polyurethane on or something. This brush, plastic or newspaper to protect your surfaces. A glue gun, hot glue, and what else? Scissors, of course, so we need scissors. And some foam board or some cardboard. We're gonna hang this on. And then maybe some paper. I got black and white paper for a little bit of an extra craft you can do at the end. So what we are going to be making is this. Whoops, that's backwards actually. This. We're gonna show you that this isn't complete yet. This is kind of what a hive looks like in nature if it's hanging from the inside of a ceiling or hanging from a tree. And basically what it is layers and layers of comb. So the biggest layer is in the center, and that's where the brood is gonna be. And then the other layers get smaller and smaller as the comb expands, and these will have brood in the center. Oftentimes they'll have honey at the top. And as you go out, the comb gets lighter and lighter because it's new. So these combs often don't even have anything in them. So this is kind of an example of the way the bees shape their comb, and it will form around branches or whatever is around. So this is halfway done. And you'll be able to see inside there's bees, because when we're doing those removals, the bees tend to cluster in the center of the colony. So the bees are hanging out on the brood. And I used I'll show it. I used an actual comb from one of the removals as a model for what I was doing for this. But anyway, watch what we're gonna do. It's super easy. And basically the first thing we're gonna do is decide what the largest comb is gonna be. And you're gonna cut it. You can cut it, you can make a pattern, or you can just do it free form. And basically it is a shield or oval shape. So yeah, I just cut this into, I got my bad scissors here, and a shield, because the bee is attached at the top, so it can be more of an oval, and it doesn't have to be perfect because that's how bees do their comb. Perfect is imperfect. Anyway, something like that shape. And you're gonna see on the bubble wrap, one side is flatter and the other side has the bubbles that you pop. The first thing you're gonna do is paint the flat side. And there's a reason for that, because when you paint the other side, it kind of helps give it some shape. And again, I just used a little piece of newspaper, and I just will, it's my palette. If any of you do a lot of painting, you probably do this. So I kind of put mostly the colors. I'll probably use way more than that of white and yellow and some brown. This is funny. It's exactly the same colors in the, what is it, Arby's sandwiches. Mustard, meat, bread, all those colors. I need more of that. Okay, so the center comb's gonna be darker, the outer combs are gonna be lighter. And so I use a pretty dry brush because this plastic isn't gonna soak up. And I just get just a little bit on there and cover, you can cover the whole thing on that big one, really light. And vary the colors. Lighter on the outsides, darker on the inside. So I'm gonna probably get some white here. I don't know if we can see that. Maybe I need to move over a bit. White, I'm gonna just brush more on that outside there. Can you see that? I don't have a professional camera crew watching over my shoulder, so, you know, take what we can get. And I do have my camera on a tripod, but I broke part of it, so it's actually tape or rubber banded on, so I don't think I can really adjust it too well without the camera falling. And let me just show you what this looks like. Something not at all like what you're thinking it's gonna look like, and I'm gonna pick up a little of that, I don't know, it's like a bird sienna, whatever, put it in the middle, this big one. This stuff, it's gonna take a little while to dry because it's winter. Anyway, that doesn't look that fantastic, does it? Oh well, it is. Okay, we're gonna lay this flat down. This is what it looks like on the other side. Lay that down, and now we're gonna paint this side. I need more white. Good thing these are only 50 cents, but you're not gonna use a lot anyway. These are good colors. Okay, so do the same thing. Oops, I got some black on there, but guess what? It doesn't matter. Because the bees, when they first make their comb, it's white. Very pure white and beautiful. And as the comb gets older and each time they fill it with food or brood, and that brood hatches, they take propolis, which is from the tree resins that they collect, and they will line the cells with that because it is antimicrobial and antifungal, which is pretty awesome, and that keeps the colonies, that keeps the comb from getting disease and mold. Sometimes they do get mold. I'm gonna get some more white and go on the outside now, just a little. And you'll see in the actual picture of the real comb how this looks. And you can use that as a guide when you're doing yours. And some yellow, because it's got some pollen. Anyway, so as the comb ages, it gets darker, but also stronger. And that's pretty great for the bees because new wax is super fragile. And imagine having your house made of wax in Arizona in the summers. That is not a real stable home. Anyway, this is pretty much, get that darker color, even take some black. Get that really dark in the middle. Because this center has had a few generations of eggs, bees hatch. So when you do this, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it kind of has left a pattern on the bottom paper, but also gives this side some texture that looks more like comb, because this side has the texture. Anyway, what you're gonna do is just let that dry, however long it takes, and you can lay it on either side and let it dry. It will stick after a while, but that's okay. And while I'm letting this dry, I will show you the other cool thing that you can do with this bubble wrap. So you can make shapes, cut shapes out of it, whatever. And then you can just use paint. Remember, don't get it too thick. I got some white on this one and some yellow. Let's get some more white. And then you can use it to make some honeycomb patterns on paper. So this is what it's gonna look like on black. And you're gonna just press it down like a stamp and pull it up, and it's, you know, it's not completely hexagon, but it's pretty good. And then you can cut that out and make crops with it. And you can do that with the white also. You might want to use, you could use more yellow on that one, and brown maybe. I don't know. This already has brown on it. Let's see what it looks like. Oops, I'm doing this off there. I'm just painting this funny. So that's kind of fun. Oh, look how lovely. It's so lovely. So we got the black and the white honeycomb, and that makes a pretty cool pattern. If you're doing honeybee crafts or something, kids will have a blast with this. And it's a great way to use, recycle your bubble wrap that you get in your Christmas packages or Amazon, billion Amazon packages. So anyway, there's that. Let's set that over here. And I'm gonna move on because I don't want to have this take forever. And you can have as many layers of the comb that you want. And I'm gonna show you that you can probably see this here. I've got, well, I'll try not to. So this is 5 layers. So I already have the biggest layer over here glued. Then this is the next biggest, the next smallest, the next smallest, the next smallest. Okay, so they just are like probably an inch or 2 smaller on each side. So once they're dry, you're gonna take some glue, like this tacky glue. I really like that. And you just are gonna swirl it from up here into different, you don't wanna cover it completely. I mean, you can, this one's pretty covered, but leave some on the, you don't want it to go all the way to the edges. And after you get the glue on, you're just gonna take your, well, let's see, I have it in these combs, those cups. So you're just gonna shake it all over, well, kind of like that, and press it down into the glue. And then I just actually leave it till it dries, and then when you go like this, shake it up, that's what you have. So these are the bees that are on the inside of the comb. Again, you can use Rice Krispies, maybe Cocoa Krispies would be good. Probably not Fruity Pebbles. That's not very realistic. But I was gonna use black beans because I have a ton of them for my last post I did on counting bees, but I think that would have been kind of heavy. So I used these golden puffed wheat or whatever it is. Okay, next step is once everything's dry, all your pieces, I put this, by the way, on the flat side. I left the bubble side without bees on it. And you'll see, you can put bees on it, but I think it works better this way for me. Actually, you might want to do some spot bees on it. So what I did was cut a piece of foam core. You could do cardboard, whatever. I like organic shapes, but you could do anything. You could even glue it on a piece of wood. And I started with the biggest piece. Oh, I think I need it. Oh, it's still plugged in. So my hot glue gun is still hot. This isn't like the super high temperature that I don't know how that would do with the bubble wrap. So anyway, you can see that the bee sides are together. What I did was start with the biggest piece, and I just laid it where I wanted it, and I lifted this side and just ran a bead of hot glue and then pressed it down. And then I did the next level layer. See that? I did the next layer, laid it where I wanted it, lifted up the edge and glued it, and then I did the next layer, and then I did the next layer, all going with the bubble wrap bubbles on the outside. And then the next layer, and then the last layer. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like doing it. So these two are the same size pieces. They're the 2 biggest. So then what I did was to take this, I hope you can see this. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And with the bee side out, I just kind of laid it exactly where I wanted it. And then just flip up the edge and run this glue right there. And press it back down. And that's that one. Let it cool a second. Still warm. Yeah, I think a hotter glue might melt that. So then we have this layer. Take the next one. And we're going to place that centered there. Run a bead of glue. And press that down. So this is actually, really is what it looks like when bees make their home in trees and inside of attics. And when we remove colonies from houses and things, what we do is we actually go one by one and we cut this comb off and we place this in a frame that goes into a hive. That usually has wires in it, and we rubber band it. So we're kind of doing the opposite of what we do when we remove bees. So instead of attaching the comb, we take the comb and cut each piece off. Now the little tiny pieces like this, when we're doing a removal, there's no reason to keep it unless there is hardly any brood and they happen to have brood there. But generally they don't have the brood on the outside, on the inside. So there's that one. And the last one is, this is gonna be mostly pure white with a little bit of yellow in it when you are doing, when the bees build this, because it's the newest comb. Lay this here. And put this on. That cool. So let's see what it looks like. All done. So this really is, seriously, this is how bees build their homes. If they're on a wall, they'll attach the sides to also a structure. So this is the general free-form shape of a beehive. And the bees will, the queen, when you're looking for the queen, is going to be probably in the center here. They have to keep this brood at 95 degrees. That's the larva, eggs, and pupa. They have to keep that at 95 degrees all the time. So those bees are on there cleaning, working, feeding, and keeping the whole colony warm. So I think we could probably put a few holes here and hang this. You could hang it from a string like a mobile. You could attach it to you could actually just screw it into a ceiling if you wanted to, or a board. And this is the honeycomb. I think it's a really fun craft. It's a fun craft that lets you use some things you probably have hanging around at home. And if you don't, it's easy to get or ask someone. So that is a freeform beehive craft. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you make one, and I hope that when you do make it, you post it. These colonies this would be a really small colony. They can get several feet long and wide, and they're just fascinating to me. Bees are amazing. And the more you get into the world, the more you fall in love with them. So I hope you guys had fun, and I'm gonna do a few other crafts later, but also don't forget this little fun thing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these, but maybe I could make a Christmas card. I could write some cool stuff here. I don't know, I could cut it out and make a Christmas ornament. That's probably a good idea. It kind of looks like Africa. Or is that Africa? South America? Maybe that. Anyway, when I do removals, I always pick out the country or state that the comb looks like. So this is still wet. But anyway, have fun, and I'm going to tune out so I can get busy doing some other things. I'm going to make some sea salt honey caramels and an origami letter folding thing. So I'm not sure when you'll see this video, but those other two things are coming or they went. So have an awesome day, and I'm tuning out. Bye.